Welcome to the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. Let's get after it.
What are you fighting for? What are you getting after? What seeds are you planting? What are you overcoming? Think big. Think even bigger. Take some risks. God's got your back. Go for it. Don't hold back. Don't ever have regrets in your life. Go fail. Go grow from those things. Live your life.
Your identity is not defined by your successes or your failures.
If you're not happy where you're at, you won't be happy where you're going. Choose to do the things that will make you the person you want to be, that will make you a better person next week and next year.
You're going to have to leave some things you're actually good at behind so that you can find what you're wired for, what you're born for.
Being a world-class entrepreneur is being in every area of life excellent.
It is the little things that are so easy not to do.
The best thing that you can do is assume the best in people.
I want people around the world to believe they can do something great with their life.
If I build the biggest business, but I destroy my physical body and I lose my health, I don't think that's success. While you're on the journey climbing to success, never forget the things that matter most.
If you like this episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified every time a new episode is released. Welcome back to another episode of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Frederick. Today I'm joined with a very special guest, a very exciting individual by the name of Steve Sims. You've probably seen him on one of your favorite podcasts on TV, maybe on Instagram. He's everywhere. He knows everybody, and he's known as the real-life Wizard of Oz. You may say, why? Well, part of it has to do with something called bluefishing. I'll let him introduce himself first. Steve, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
I was going to say, I'm not sure I can live up to that intro, but I'm pleased to be here.
Absolutely. Steve is the founder and CEO of the luxury concierge service Bluefish. In 2017, Steve published a book called Bluefishing, The Art of Making Things Happen. And since his book's wildly successful release, Steve has been an internationally featured speaker and has been featured in media, including Influencive, Forbes, Inc., and many others. So welcome to the show again, Steve, and I'm excited to have you.
I appreciate it.
Can you give the listeners a brief glimpse into your personal life, what's going on in your day-to-day?
My day-to-day? Oh, Struth. I am busy. I am doing everything. Well, let me give you today. You know, we're sitting here now. It's Friday, but I'm currently planning for Sir Elton John's Oscar party that we've been a partner with for 8 years, and that's a week Sunday. But I live in Hollywood, and the first major event of the Oscar week commences tonight. So I'm catching up on a lot of work now. I've got my first event tonight, then I've got one Sunday. Then on Wednesday through to Friday, I've got my own personal mentorship program, which is called a Speakeasy, where we bring top-level entrepreneurs and some of my, shall we say, special friends in to help solve problems and make people better. And then that night, we've got a really cool pre-Oscar party on the Friday night that Bluefish hosts. And then on the Sunday night, I go to the Oscar party with Elton John. So that's my next week that's coming up.
No big deal. Just brushing shoulders with legends of our time. Again, you don't take yourself too seriously. I admire that because of what you've already accomplished in your life. Before our interview, I was watching your book release video.
My video book launch.
Yes, your video book launch. And I was watching, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, obviously your friends really admire you and respect you. But there was a lot of ball busting. There was a lot of, just jesting, a lot of fun. And you fostered some incredible relationships in your life. And I was watching it, and I was losing it. I was laughing out loud multiple times. I recognized quite a few of the guests you had there. Cole and Sonia Hatter, they've been on the show. I'm not surprised that we connected. We talked before the show about, you mentioned you appreciate that I didn't send you over a list of questions. You don't like scripted answers. You've done over 300 podcasts. So I'm thinking to myself, what can I ask Steve that will make this podcast special for him and for the audience and make it a little different? So is there anything that you want to cover in this interview that you wish people would ask you more often?
When I go onto a podcast, I have one goal. Actually, sorry, I lied already. There's two goals. One, to have fun. I've been on podcasts before, and I've had to say it's only happened a couple of times, but I've had to say to the host, whoa, hang on, let's stop this and let's start again, because you're boring me, or it's so unexciting that I don't want to be here. And you would say, well, you're 50 years old and you're quite successful now. You probably don't tolerate people. I've never tolerated people. From the age of 17 years old, if someone was a prick, then I didn't want anything to do with them.
Exactly.
So you can't blame it on the fact that I'm 50 years old now.
Unreal.
I've always been an ass. If you are wasting my space, wasting my time, and sapping my energy, I'm gone. And if everyone turns off this podcast now, that's fine. But just take that away with you. Don't waste your time for anybody.
Even giving a takeaway to the haters. I like your style.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be done. And the other thing I want to do on a podcast is I want to be able to give whatever the audience. Now, when we spoke prior to this, you were very courteous by giving me an overview of the kind of people that listen to your show. Okay. So now when we're speaking, we can go, well, okay, what problems do you have in your industry, your circle that we can solve in this show to help you? Because I'm not here to sell you anything. My whole focus is to be a benefit to you. And I will quickly flow into the book launch party video you saw.
Yeah.
So we launched a book. The book did incredibly well, but I get a call from the publisher, and the publisher says, right, here's $2,500. You need to get a table, and they gave me an address at the local Barnes and Noble, and get some champagne and sign copies of the book. I thought to myself, there is no way in the world I'm going to sit behind a table in a shopping mall signing my bloody book like I'm Elvis or something.
Oh, no.
And so I said to him, I've got a slightly different idea. So what I did was I took over one of my favorite whiskey bars in Hollywood and just invited a bunch of people. We had you may have heard of, Jim Quick, Lewis Howes were invited, Sonia Hatter, Jesse Elder, Jeff Moore, Greg Reed, a whole bunch of, I suppose you can call it influencers, but just cool people that I know and love. And as you see from the video, so it was Sonia that actually put that together. I wasn't even aware, but it did really well to get the idea out that we're just a bunch of people having fun launching a book.
Goes to show that you've built real friendships where people want to do extra things just because of how they feel about you and their appreciation for your friendship. What are some ways that I can start fostering valuable and deeply rich friendships like this in my life?
Well, the first one is to give value to them. You see, any relationship, and you should first of all, before you look for building up better relationships, then sort your own out first. Look at the people that you are with and find out, are any of them worth the squeeze? Now, this is I'm going to tell you now, this is a very horrible thing and exercise to do, but it will give you athletic power for the future. Look at your friendships, and I see these people, and I go, oh, who's that? They go, oh, that's Billy. And you go, well, who's Billy? Oh, Billy's my mate. We've known each other since high school. And I'm like, well, you sounded like you don't like the guy. Well, Billy's, people change.
Yeah.
And if people are in your life that give no value to you, then get them out of your life. It's a waste of time to have those people in there. Now, I have people in my life that only have value. Now, I have friends that I will fly across the planet for, stay in their yacht, stay in their mansion, stay in their penthouses, do $1 million worth of business with. We will laugh, we will drink, and I will fly home. And then I've got people that I will go to London with. I'm the one paying for the restaurant. I'm the one paying for the bar tab. None of them will get their hands in their pocket because they can't afford what I can, but they will make the entire night just making me crease up with stories and laughter. So value doesn't have a dollar sign on it. It's what it contributes to your life, mentality, passion, focus. I can speak to literally a famous business mogul and go, what do you think of this business idea? And they will give me an idea. And then I can speak to a friend of mine that's a biker in London and say, what do you think of this? And he'll be like, oh, I don't get it. And his opinion can be more important than the other guy. Because if you don't get it, you're not going to sell it. You're not going to provide it. You're not going to get it out there. So Look at the people you've got first of all, and get rid of those people that you are struggling to find a value to have them in your circle. And then when you want to go and make bigger relationships, the first and only focus is, what value do you bring to that relationship with them? And everyone that I've spoken to, every one of my friends, no matter how famous they are, it's a case of, I've got an opinion that can help your record launch. I've got an idea how I can help you market your book. I've got an idea how I can help you raise money for your gala. I've got funny jokes. I can make you laugh. I know how to make a great whiskey cocktail. You need someone like that in your circle. If you bring nothing to the game, then you're not in the game. So anyone that you want a relationship with, think to yourself, how can I help enrich their life by me being in it? And that's what will make an irresistible and long-term relationship.
That's big. You're dealing with not only famous people, but very influential people in every space with your concierge service, with your life at this point. In terms of dealing with the initial interactions, are you, I get the sense, of course, that you are congruent with who you are, Steve Sims, no matter the situation, who you're dealing with. But of course, there are, I'm sure, are situations where you don't want to be a sycophant, and you understand that famous people perhaps dislike that very much, so they can appreciate you being upfront. They can appreciate you going outside the box, insisting to them, hey, you could really use this in your life. And say, maybe you got a point there. Let's see what you got. So what are some things, though, that you do to navigate that introductory phase of, okay, is this a person that's trying to charm me, or is this a person that's actually wants to help out? And of course, it will benefit them to know me, but is this, like, how do you deal with that ego initially? Because there is a high guard up with famous, influential people. The point in asking the question is, I'm at a place where if and when I'm dealing with more and more influential people, whether it's through my business, my podcast, I want to make sure that I'm going about it the right way, being upfront and being congruent with who I am as a person, while also navigating that initial, you know what I'm saying?
I do. And I've been next to very famous people, and when you get these fans, they have a look in their eye, and they lock and load to the artist or to the talent or to the business mogul, and you can see them coming. And the person that I'm with, physically, his posture changes, because the higher profile you get, you're correct, the more suspicious you become. The more you're searching for transparency. Keyword, transparency. So as these people are coming towards you, they're looking at them and they've got a gauge in their head. Is this person just looking for a selfie? Is this person looking to do something with me? Is this person going to annoy me? Am I in trouble? Am I in danger? All of these things are going through this person's head. And their body position physically changes because they're not sure of it. The easiest way to get through to it is to go up and go, hey, I know you're going to be flawed by a lot of people wanting the same thing. I'm a great admirer of your work. Do you mind if I get a photograph? And then I'll be out of your hair. I'm just a great fan. Now, do you know how much that relaxes people? And it relaxes people because of one thing. They know what you're after. Now, I go up to people, powerful people, rich people, people in politics, people that physically own countries, and I will go up to them and I go, hey, I will go up to them and I'll say, hey, my name's Steve Sims, and I'm aware that you're trying to do this. I've got a way that I can actually get you to your goal faster. Would that be of interest for us to continue this conversation?
So and I'm know.
I've gone up to people before, especially celebrities. I've gone up to when I've had a client of mine that's wanted to like sing on stage with a rock band or have an artist come over to their house to play piano or something. I've gone up to the artist and I've gone, hey, how are you? You don't know me, but I have and there's two ways of doing this. So this is the toughest route that I'm giving you, and then I'm going to give you the easier route. Nice. Okay. So the toughest route, and especially for Elton John's party, I'm at Elton John's Oscar party next Sunday. I know Elton, I know Dave, I know the crew. A lot of famous people are going to be at that event that don't know me. So I go there every year to help initiate relationships with other people I don't know, of power, of stature that I can work with. Okay. I will go up to someone and go, hey, you don't know me. My name is Steve Sims, and I want you to come to my client's birthday party and teach him how to play piano. But before you throw that out of the door, I'm aware that you've got a charity and you're trying to supply these schools with computers. I've got a way that I can get those computers in the school. Would that be of interest to you for us to continue? Now, in those situations, I'm making it very, very clear right from the beginning, hey, I want something, but I've done enough research to know that you want something, and I'm bringing something to the game. And you know, and I'm going to back this here, if you walk in there showing them that you care to bring value to what they see value in and they desire, they'll engage in the conversation.
Right.
That's the toughest route. I'll give you an example. I had a client of mine that wanted to have an exclusive dinner in Italy, Florence. I managed to close down the Accademia Museum, which is one of the largest museums in Florence, and it houses Michelangelo's David. I had the entire museum closed down at 3:00 in the afternoon. I set up a table of 6 at the feet of Michelangelo's David, and then halfway through my clients eating pasta in this museum on their own, I had Andrea Bocelli wander in and serenade them during dinner. Now, so when I went to the Accademia to get the museum shut down, I had someone make the introduction. But when I went there, I said, hey, how are you? I want this to happen. I was very quick to reveal what I wanted. If I came up to you in a bar and I looked at you and I didn't talk to you, but I looked at you. Okay?
This happens to me at the gym all the time.
How nervous does it make you?
Oh, it's awful. It's the worst.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah. So, but if I come up to you and I go, hey, my name's Steve Sims. I saw you doing this workout. What is that working? Because I'm trying to work on my arms.
There we go.
I'm making it very clear what I want. You're not suspicious anymore because I've made it very crystal clear what I'm after. And so when I went to the Accademia, I said to him, hey, I want you to close down on this, but I'm aware you have a gala coming up later on this year to raise funds for roof repair. Is that correct? And they're like, yes, we do. Well, I've got a way that I can actually get you significantly closer to your goal before you even start the gala. Would that be of interest to you? So quite simply, they knew that I wanted something, but I was showing them that if they gave me what I wanted, I gave them what they wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm very clear about that. That's the hard way to do it. The easier way to do it is to get someone else to introduce you. Now, if you don't know powerful people, you may know smaller powerful people, local powerful people, local influencers. Start building your way up by leveraging. I have leapfrogged between relationship to relationship to relationship to get to the standard that I need. But here's the scoop. I walk up to you in the street and I say to you, hey, how you doing? My name's Steve Sims. I've sent people down to the Titanic. I've got people married by the Pope. I personally know Elton John. You know, I've worked with Andrea Bocelli. I've closed up. If I say all of those things to you, within seconds, you've turned off. And no matter how wonderful they are, you're like, well, this guy's full of himself. This guy's just all arrogant. He's branding. He's marketing. He's promoting. He's going to try and sell me something. Blah, blah, blah. You will dislike me. But if your best mate and you are at an event and I walk past you and your best mate turns over to you and says, hey, you see that guy there? He sent people down to the Titanic. He got people married by the Pope. He personally knows Elton John. If he repeated word for word what I had said, it comes from a credible, reliable source. So what I always do is every time I try to initiate a relationship, I try to find someone in that circle, and it's very easy to do, look on Facebook and LinkedIn, and if you know someone that knows someone and you don't know the first person very well, then start working on that relationship. Hey, I saw you went to Italy. I saw you're going to Italy. I went to Italy, and maybe I can help you with some really cool places to go. Just start working on that relationship. And then when that relationship's strong enough, go, I noticed that Billy is within your circle. I've been trying to get hold of Billy because I've got an answer for him. Would you mind introducing me? And get other people to introduce. Now, you saw that video of my book launch.
Yes.
And that book launch quite openly had a lot of drunken influencers talking shit about me, didn't it?
Yeah.
They were just taking the mickey. It was very playful banter on me, okay? Those are the relationships I have. That what happens is you get one of those people and they introduce and they don't go, oh, you need to speak to Steve Sims. He's such an acclaimed, clever person, such an intellect. They phone up and they say something along the lines of, this is a strange, funny guy. He's off the wall, but he gets it done and is worth having a call with. And so when you've got relationships, and I've often said, if you meet someone, and you'll do the same now, if someone introduced me to you and went, oh, you should speak to Steve Sims, he's incredibly articulate, and oh, he's a really smart man, they don't know me. They may have heard of me, but they don't know me. The people that know me will be the kind of guys that go, you need to chat with Sims. He's a bit of an asshole, but he's pretty cool. And that's the kind of conversation, that's the way that I want to be introduced. And what people fail to realize about rich, powerful people is rich people are poor people with a lot of money.
You can tell when they are a very grateful person, when they're appreciative of their life. And it's quite clear through the playfulness that these are real, genuine people who have a real appreciation for their position at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I can't solve the world's problems. I can't find a cure for cancer. But I am very, very focused on providing value to relationships. And I believe 90% of everything we do, we can outsource or get Amazon to do. But the one thing that can never be replaced is the ability to communicate with another individual.
Were you just born with that?
Bottom line of it is I was a bricklayer. I was an Irish lad born in London and worked for my dad's construction firm and left school at the age of 15. The bottom line of it is when I went into an East London pub, if I said something to the wrong person, I knew that I had said the wrong thing because I met his knuckles on my nose.
Yeah.
So it was a very easy life that you realize there are some people you play with and some people you don't. The problem is now, we've got social platforms and people message you and then they moan at you 6 months later and they go, well, I messaged you and you didn't answer me. And I'm like, you didn't call me. Yeah, but I put a message on Twitter. I don't bloody watch Twitter all the time for people to communicate. And they get upset. And when, are you married or in a relationship? Have you been in a relationship?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever had an argument with your partner or even your mate? And then you've not reconciled it over the next week. 2 weeks later that you hate the other person, but by that time you forgot what the argument was about. Yeah, we've got that now with social. The people go on there, you put on there your best shirt, and you're feeling good about going out there that night. Someone the other side of the planet's in a bad mood, and they go on there and they go, fat bastard. Yeah. And they're gone again, and you're feeling, oh my God, I thought I looked good in that shirt. All of a sudden, communication is becoming something that we sadly are learning not to take too seriously for fear that whatever is said will actually hurt us. And that's a shame. I'm sorry to rant here, but I heard two facts the other day. One made me smile, one made me cry. Yeah. Being here in Los Angeles, it's a fact that there are more weed shops than there are Starbucks.
Wow.
Okay. Yep. It's true. It's absolutely true. Okay. All right. That's a funny little fact. But it's also a fact that on average, the younger people in the planet now spend more time talking to AI than they do their best friend. Because they will speak to AI, including Siri and Alexa, several times during the day to put the lights on, turn the lights off, put the music up, play this music, change that, call Billy. They spend more time speaking to them in a combination over a month than they do their best friend. I want you to think about now your two best friends. Don't call out their names, but your two best friends, okay? When was the last time you had a 30-minute conversation with them? When was the last time? This Sunday.
Yes.
You spoke to both of them this Sunday?
It was an hour and a half.
Bingo. So you've actually put it into a schedule. Okay?
Have to. That's the question I have for you as well with yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good. So you've jumped to the other. People don't. I book meetings with my wife and with my kids. And people are like, hang on, you schedule meetings? You're damn right. Yesterday morning, I had a scheduled breakfast meeting with my wife where we just went for a walk, had breakfast, and walked home again. Now, here's the dumb thing. I will schedule a meeting with my dentist, my accountant, my lawyer, all things I hate, but I won't schedule a meeting with someone I love? Surely that's a bit screwed up.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you reserve time for those that actually mean the most for you in life. And I'm glad you do that with your friends.
Yeah, honestly, it's been more of a recent thing, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you as well is, you're living outside the box. You are just seeing what's possible by pushing the limits, not following the standard black and white rules of you can't do this, you can't do that, sit down, shut up. You're just like, no, none of that applies to me. I'm just going to make this happen. I love that approach, and I want to do better at that in my life. I do think I have some of that in me, but it's not. I'm in a place now where 100%. I went to Lewis Howes' event, and I saw that it's not just him. It's a lot of the influencers. It's a lot of people in the online entrepreneurial space. A big aspect, it's honestly just successful business people in general. My observation has been over the last year, Steve, is that they are actually facilitating relationship above everything else. They're asking for help, and they're being real with some vulnerabilities so other people can root for them, and so that they can speak to their audience or speak to developing new relationships through that sharing. Is there ways that we can implement that in our lives to develop richer friendships?
I believe there's a revolution going on. That those people that have it or think they have it or maybe are comfortable where they are openly out there trying to help others. And the whole point of communication is to be able to turn around and go, hey, I need this. I need some help. How can you help me? Because then reciprocal, you'll actually turn around saying, how can I help you? How can I return the favor? But my friends know they're going to get called on. I don't have fair weather friends. If I walk down the road and someone annoys me and I've just killed them, then I need to be able to phone up a friend and say, hey, can you help me bury the body? I have friends now. I haven't done that in a long time, but I will phone up my friends and go, all right, I got this problem. Have you ever come across this? Funny enough, I have, but Jimmy had it freaking worse than I did. Speak to Jimmy. Fine, tell Jimmy I'm calling him. Jimmy, I got this problem. What happened to you? Yeah, I did this. We need to share. Now, there's these things out there called social platforms, which name, we got 5,000 friends on there and we don't know 4,998 of them. The real social is actually interacting person to person, asking questions, responding to the questions, gauging the response, responding appropriately, challenging each other. That's where social is, and that's what we should be using it for. Social platforms should be used. There's nothing more than just a small way of keeping in contact with what's going on in life, but it should not replace actually being social.
Well, how do I facilitate that? Do I just go out to the bar? Do I go out to meetups? Do I go out to events, charity events? How do I help develop those people, those relationships? Just taking action, right?
Absolutely. I have a great, I'm very, very fortunate that I do have great friends, but the funny thing is I also have friends that look at what I do and they go, oh, you're doing this. And they put what I do into a lovely little quip. Ari Meisel said to me years ago that I am very qualified at getting going and then getting good. And I suddenly realized that I will do and then worry about making it polished and worrying about it perfect. Because if we try to do something when it's perfect, it'll never happen. Because in my eyes, perfection is a blue unicorn with 3 testicles. It doesn't exist. So don't even try chasing it. Start something, and then the following day, tweak it better, better. Get going, then get good.
One of my favorite ways to learn is through listening. I do enjoy reading, but listening allows you to multitask. Let's say you're driving to work, you're running errands, cleaning up on a Saturday, whatever you're doing. Audio allows you to multitask, and that's why I've reached out to audible.com to get a promo set up between Heart Healthy Hustle Nation and Audible. I became an Audible affiliate, so you can get a free Audible audiobook. I use Audible for many of my audiobooks, tremendous selection of books readily available. So if you don't want to spend a monthly subscription to Audible, you can get 1 free Audible book, put in your name and email, then you will get a free audiobook, at which point you can listen to that audiobook, keep it forever, and cancel your subscription before 30 days so that you don't get charged for a monthly subscription. This way you get a free book. You guys are awesome. Go to triplehaudiobook.com. That's HHHaudiobook.com. Boom. That's powerful. Done is better than perfect. One of your principles in your book, Bluefishing, ask why at least 3 times. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, there's a real what should we call it? Shield that goes up when people are telling you what they want. I openly say I've never given anybody what they asked for. I've given them what they wanted. So people will come up to you and they will go, oh, I want this. And you go, that sounds fantastic. I'm hearing what you're asking for. Oh, that's great. Let me ask you, why is that? And then they go, oh, yeah. And you go, oh, right, yeah, I get it. But why is that important to you?
Yeah.
And when you start just questioning the request, they start redefining what the end goal is. And you know the funny thing is, more than often, what the person is after rarely becomes what the person ends up with, because what they wanted wouldn't have got them from getting what they wanted at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's very important to, and I always say that you need to unlock your hidden Sherlock Holmes, or in America, your Indiana Jones. You need to start diving in there to find out where the treasure is. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but why is that important? Why are you doing that now? And just starting asking those questions actually starts to get down to the real crux of what the desire is all about.
Can you share? Oh, I have a good feeling about this one. Do you have a funny story that would put people on the edge of their seat when you turned a perceived sticky situation into a wild success?
Sticky situation?
Yeah, let's say it was a huge failure, but you somehow salvaged it and it worked out in the end.
Well, okay. So yes. Yeah, and it's actually very easy. If a client, let's pick on the Florence Academia. So when the client contacted me, he wanted an exclusive restaurant in Italy. Now, I could have gone and got an exclusive restaurant and booked it for him for that evening at 8:00. I would have done my job. I would have achieved what he asked me to do. But what I decided to do was to see how far I could take it, because I had asked the whys. I knew that it was a future wife of his. I knew he was trying to impress the mother and father of her. I know he's a very secretive person, so he doesn't actually like public places. All of these things, he didn't need to tell me because I heard them from the request. So I went, okay, I'm going to go for the moonshot. What's the most outrageous location I could get for a meal? I didn't look for a restaurant. I looked for a location. What's the most outrageous location I could get? If you said I want to have fish and chips at the coolest venue in London, then, ask if you can do it at the Buckingham Palace. And when they say no, here's the thing. The client doesn't know what you're trying to get.
Right.
If I had not got the academia, I'd have gone for another location that was quintessentially Italian. I'd have gone for a mansion. I'd have gone for a villa. I'd have gone for a boat going down the river in Florence. I'd have gone for something else. And if all of it had failed, where would I have ended up? At the restaurant. So in which case, there's been situations where I've tried to get a celebrity to turn up, and the celebrity's gone, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm either on tour, or you can't afford me, or I don't do that, or whatever. And I've gone, well, okay, who else is similar? Now, I may have wanted the first person, but by getting the second person, my client's none the wiser that I've even tried that far out. So the good thing is, there's been locations that I've tried to get in my business. There's been speakers and superstars and talent and film stars that I've tried to get that have said no to me. But because the client's never been aware of how far out of the box I started, they never have any kind of idea of how far I failed. They just know that instead of getting X, I gave them A, B, C, D, E, F, which was far in excess of what they originally asked. So it's basically you've got to handle your client's expectations. And then what you've got to do is you've got to go so far out of the box that even if you fail 50%, you're still way further than what the client originally asked you for.
That's big, because if you do that, then again, you're going to fall there and you're already going to exceed expectations or meet expectations.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And so in which case, using that answer to your question, I've never failed because I've always way exceeded my client's expectations.
Shifting gears here. I promise this isn't scripted. I know you ride a lot. You're a motorcycle guy. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. 2 wheels forever, baby.
I love it. I rode dirt bikes growing up. We had a go-kart. What's your number one tip? I have all my stuff. I got my motorcycle license. I got my jacket. I got boots. What's your number one tip for a long-lasting, vivacious motorcycle riding career?
Oh, right. Well, there's the old saying that never ride a motorcycle that you can't pick up. There's a lot of people that buy these big, heavy machines, and they're hard to handle. So if you can't actually pick a bike up, then you need a different motorcycle. You'd have never had that problem with dirt bikes. The thing for me about motorcycling is that it's a great form of meditation, and it's a great way to actually let go of everything else. If you've ever done, I used to do kickboxing when I was a kid, and I also used to do wakeboarding, and I've always done motorcycling. If you do any of those things, it could be playing the piano, it could be playing guitar, anything that requires your focus, the second you're not focused, you fall off, you lose a chord, you miss a beat, you get a punch in the head, you fall in the water, whatever. So I always try to do things that take all of my focus, which alleviates the pressure of life, so that I'm able to escape by using all of my focus on something else. So on motorcycling, if you want to live, stop thinking about anything else and just focus on the enjoyment of being on 2 wheels.
It works. I fly a drone, and same thing. I always leave feeling better. I'm like, wow, that was therapy, because I'm focused on it.
Absolutely. A friend of mine, Joe Polish, he meditates. He can meditate for months. And I sit there with my legs crossed, and I'm aching, and I'm bent out of shape. And within 3 seconds, I'm thinking to myself, did I email that proposal? Did I phone Johnny? Have I let the cat out, and I don't even have a cat? So all of a sudden, all of these things are going through your mind. There's messing up with your moment. For me, meditation is to take my focus and to put it into a different sandpit for a while, so it creates the ability for my brain to relax and look at something else before it gets back into the real world. So however helps you meditate, if you can sit for 4 hours singing Kumbaya, good luck to you. But for other people, we need to be engaged in something in order to relax.
Steve, side note, we're going on around 44 minutes since we picked up this Skype call. You're crushing the interview. Is it okay if we go for another 10 minutes?
Let's hit it because you're exciting.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead into the Heart Healthy Hustle round. Are you ready?
I'm not sure, but let's do it.
The first category is heart. My question is, what do you do to care for your internal character? I think the motorcycle probably is a big part of that.
I never ever want to look in a mirror and feel as though I sold myself out by lying, deceiving, or giving someone anything less than 100% of me.
What do you enjoy doing to keep yourself physically well?
Yeah, I wish I had a great answer for that, but I've let myself slide for a while, I'm afraid. I do eat very well because of my wife, healthy, but because I travel and I speak and I do mentorship programs and my life is just so much on the road, I can't deny a great steak and a good whiskey. So I need to be focusing more on my health. I am aware of that at the moment.
Allowing yourself the steak and whiskey, what are some things that you can do to amplify that area?
I've got to do a lot more moving. I actually started cycle class a little while ago to get my stamina back up. When you get in your 50s, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you can work out a couple of times a week and you can start seeing benefits in a month. When you're in your 50s, those benefits don't show up for 6 months. So I've got to be doing a lot more with it, but I have started. I can promise you that.
Awesome. I want to see you here for many, many years to come, so I hope so.
Yeah, so do I.
Have you heard of Rolfing?
Rolfing?
Yeah,
No.
It sounds really weird. It's not a dog or a dog bark. It's actually a style of myofascial release. It's just like a deep tissue massage. The coolest thing is there's a series of, I don't know, I think it's like 10 sessions, and you find a Rolfing specialist in your area. It helps with mobility, peace of mind that comes with having relaxed musculature. It's just something that you might be interested to look into, Rolfing.
Is that with an R? R for Robert?
Yes, is Rolfing. And
Good, got it down. Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
For hustle, Steve, I'm wondering, what's your main motivation for doing what you do?
Boredom. A lot of people only react to fear. If you walk onto a stage and you say, hey, run out the back door, there's $1 million, 2 people will run out the back door just out of curiosity. But if you go on that same stage and you shout out fire, everyone will leave the room in a heartbeat. So people move on fear. My fear is that I am going to be the same today next week. I don't want that to happen. So I'm always trying different things. I will listen to different music stations. I will order stuff off menus I don't know. Every week, I need to have gained a couple of steps to become a bigger, more knowledgeable person, even on knowledge of things that I don't like. But I have to try different things. Yesterday, as an example, for the entire day, I listened to Korean radio. And so I'm working in my office and I'm listening to like an iHeart version of Korean music. And it was all this new K-pop. And of course, it was Korean. It was from a world radio station. So it wasn't in British. I couldn't understand a word that was being said, but I now have an understanding of what K-pop is. And so I'm constantly pushing just to experience something different. And so the idea is next week, I have not tried one thing. That will be what pisses me off. So that's my hustle to keep going.
Getting into podcasting, I knew that being patient with reaching the right crowd, and I understand the patience required to get to that. As of right now, the show is growing consistently. I'm grateful for the opportunity to keep producing this show and sharing it. Will you help me grow this show? Consider helping me out by sharing the show with one friend. Interesting. Wow. You fear boredom.
I fear lack of growth. I don't fear boredom. I think boredom is like perfection. It shouldn't exist. Or it doesn't exist. I fear the lack of growth. And I just want to expand my horizons. I want to try new things, taste new things. I'm that 4-year-old kid that just wants to put his hand in every cookie jar. And I'm 50 odd years now, and I'm still that 4-year-old kid that wants to experience every cookie jar.
How has following your curiosity aided or harmed your life?
It's harmed it. Harm's a very tough word.
Yeah.
When you get a punch in your nose, you instantly learn to keep your guard up. So through everything that I've been harmed at, I've grown by. My greatest education has come from my biggest failures. So the greatest things that have created pain have become my greatest strengths. Being curious, which I am, is my first and middle name, gets me in a situation which sometimes I shouldn't have been in. But every time they've created harm to me, I've grown and I've become better. So they're kind of a mixture. You can't get into a fight and not expect to get a slap in your face. But if you get out of that ring and you've won, there's an immense amount of pride. So I love challenging myself constantly to see what I'm capable of. Because knowing how you can stand up after a fall is everything to me.
I just heard a friend of mine we had on 2 weeks ago said it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
I know that one well, yep.
Powerful. What do you think's holding back most proactive young professionals? If you could sit down and you could point your finger in a young adult's face, 25-year-old male, female, either way, and you really were intending to help them in their life overall, what would you like to tell them and instill or help them realize at this age?
Stop thinking.
Yeah.
I believe that my greatest benefit was actually my lack of education. I never had the education of fear and intimidation brought into me. So I would look at other people that were paralyzed by analysis, trying to do these PowerPoints, trying to make things perfect, trying to make things look good. I would just go and do and then go, well, that didn't work. And then try it again and go, oh, it's worked now. And I would be the person prepared to continue. We're way too scared now on people staring at our failures. Let me ask you this question. Have you heard of a guy called Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was doing the space rocket testing and they were trying to get the fuel cells to land on the platform in the ocean? And do you remember how they wouldn't land? They would land, fall over, and then it would explode. Do you remember?
I'm with you. Okay.
Okay. When was the last time you saw any footage of those fuel cells landing on the platform?
A few years ago.
Why? Because they are successful now. But because they would blow up every week, you would see, oh, Elon Musk, it failed again. Oh, it exploded. Oh, it missed the platform completely. They laugh at you until they applaud. The big thing about Elon Musk is he could not give a rat's testy on what you think. So he would just go and get it done. So I would tell youngsters, stop worrying about people videoing your failures.
Yeah.
Because this will only become your greatest hits to success.
Oh, I love it. Stop thinking. You heard it here, guys. Steve Sims, thank you so much. I want to ask you before we go, after interviewing with me, Jonathan, what is, in your opinion, something that I can start doing today to drastically improve my life?
Well, remember the question that you would try to ask me on curiosity would help. I would say that you, as we just said to anybody, don't worry about what other people think. And also try different things. Whether it be a radio station, whether it be an appetizer on a menu that you can't recognize, whether it be a drink in a bar that you've never had, just try things. You'll find that little bits of growth on little bits of growth make you a hugely more proficient person.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And I do appreciate your time, truly. Thanks for being on.
It's been a pleasure. It's been enjoyable. Thank you for having me.
I want to know, how can my audience connect with you after the show?
I'm at stevedsims.com, or you can, if you've got a US cell phone, text the word Sims, S-I-M-S, that's one M, S-I-M-S, to 345345, and you can get a PDF of my book, The Greatest Hits, in the back of the book, and you'll also get a couple of my favorite videos.
Congratulations on making it to the end of this episode. What about this episode stood out to you? Next, I need your help sharing this show. I want this podcast to impact and reach 6,000 people per episode by August 31st, 2019. And I want us to reach 15,000 people per month by March 29th, 2020. Have you been enjoying multiple episodes of The Heart Healthy Hustle? I'm thrilled to share with you an exclusive invitation to join our new Facebook community. To get to know other Heart Healthy Hustlers, simply go to thehearthealthyhustle.com/Facebook, where you can expect to see different members of our community being featured weekly in Facebook Live calls. I appreciate all of your love and support, and I will see you in the next episode. As always, be generous on every occasion. There is a story for you, and live wide open.